Let's bring in Andrew Clennell, our political editor. Andrew, Steve Bracks there was pretty frank. He said he probably did the same thing back in 2006, promised to serve a term of next term. He didn't, as we know. He resigned in 2007, but says you got to take him at his word that things change. That was his view. What did you make of that discussion with Mr Bracks?
Yeah, OK, mate. Politicians don't always tell the truth, do they? I mean, look, if you're going 10 months in, or he went about 8 months in, I think you pretty much know what you're doing. I thought that was fascinating. He was great to get on, Kieran. Kudos for getting him on, because he has done exactly what Bracks has done, as I pointed out during this telecast. He has won an election in his own right, and he's just gone, you know what, I'm going. You know, just 10 months in, just 8 months in, whatever. The difference is that people always said that Bracks was the face and that Brumby, who succeeded him, was kind of more the brains of that government. You know, Steve Bracks is a smart guy, don't get me wrong when I say that. So it was kind of like Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, right? But I don't think anyone would be saying that about Jacinta Allan. With all respect to Jacinta Allan, she hasn't worked as closely with Dan Andrews as Brumby worked with Bracks, as Blair worked with Brown. And, of course, Brumby and Brown subsequently lost. That's what happens when you've had a giant there for 9 or 10 years often. Now, I'm going to play you now Dan Andrews on election night. OK, he says today, at that time, I meant what I said. I'd ask the viewers to give their own opinions to the television set as they watch this.
We put to the Victorian community a positive and optimistic plan for things like free kinder, adding to the free TAFE list, a positive plan that also includes more nurses. Our positive plan also includes more AMBOs as well. And we will now deliver bringing back the SEC. Victorians today have re-elected, in comprehensive terms, a strong, stable majority Labor government. But there were some Victorians who could not see their way clear to support our plan. I want to be very clear. We will govern for all Victorians. We will deliver each and every element of our positive plan to benefit each and every Victorian. No matter how you voted, that's what our job is. We take our responsibility seriously because Labor does what matters.
10 months ago, fair dinkum. 10 months ago. Anyway, that's politics, isn't it, folks? Here's the pandemic leaders. Only Anastasia Palaszczuk remains. There's been speculation in recent weeks she's had to quash that she'll go before the next election as well. Funny thing is, they reckon in terms of the paradigm shifting with LNP governments back in power. They talk about Queensland being the first that could happen. I was talking to a Queensland LNP source in Canberra the other week. I said, don't put your house on Christodoulou winning that election. So that was interesting to me. It's very tight there. They're still in the high 30s. They might have a higher primary, but it's a bit the same as the federal problem for the Liberal National parties. They need in the early 40s to win in Queensland, but it is an extraordinary run of leaders, most of whom have retired of their own volition. A couple lost elections, one resigned there in Berejiklian in a scandal. Now, Kieran, Jacinta Allan has spoken via social media and said she's running. Let's have a look at that. She says, congratulations, Premier, an unparalleled legacy that has changed our state forever and for the better. Thank you for your leadership and your friendship. I'll be putting myself forward to lead our party and continue the extraordinary work of our Labor government. And then she goes on to say, out of respect for my colleagues in the party process, I will not be making further comment before the caucus meeting. So no need to get out there and hold the doorstop and sell your wares. And in my experience, the front runner doesn't have to get out there and sell their wares typically. They're too busy doing the numbers and making sure they've got those locked in. So I'm putting it at better than even money that Jacinta Allan is Premier or Premier-elect come tomorrow, Kieran. And, I mean, look, I don't know enough about Victorian politics to know that is the case, but this news that Simon Love has about Ben Carroll from the right running, that strikes to me typically to be a move you make to try and secure the deputy leadership at times when the other candidate has the numbers, because you don't want, from the right's point of view, to relinquish that deputy position. So if you have to threaten to run, you often do. And because the last thing this government needs in this situation is a leadership contest, is to show division at the first hurdle. And so that's what they'll be trying to avoid, a deal overnight, so that Jacinta Allan comes out tomorrow unopposed as the leader. That's my prediction. But Dan Andrews, he's got some front, hasn't he? I mean, look, there's a lot to admire about his political abilities and even his leadership, no matter what you think of some of his policies. But one thing he absolutely has is front. When you look at that election night speech and 10 months later, changed my mind.